Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by lush green forests and sparkling rivers, there lived a girl named Mara. Let's give Mara a name. Her name was Mara. Mira. Mara. Mara was a curious and adventurous child, always exploring her surroundings. She wanted to make sure she knew about the waters and the mountains and everything around her. She always had questions. One day, Myra overheard the village elders talking about a wise sage. And that wise sage came and to the village, and she was curious about that wise sage. His name was Josef Sage. Joseph Sage. That was that wise man's name. He taught what is called a spiritual path. A spiritual path. Everybody should be on a spiritual path, he taught. And everybody should try to find a spiritual path. Intrigued or interested, Myra decided to set out on a journey to find this wise man and to learn what secrets of spiritual growth. In other words, she knew that there were several parts to her. She had a mind, she had a body, but she also knew there was more to her. She also had a soul, and that soul was inside of her, just like the mind is in the brain, and the body is the body. But she knew that if she was going to grow, she had to learn something about spiritual growth. And that spiritual growth is what she was seeking. She was seeking to know something about that spiritual growth. So she basically decided that she was going to get on a spiritual path and learn something about her spirit. After days of walking through the forest, climbing mountains, crossing rivers, Mara finally reached a cave. And in that cave, sitting peacefully under a tree, was the holy man. His eyes were closed in deep meditation. And Mara approached him hesitantly. Joseph Sage, she asked, can you teach me about the secrets of spiritual growth? Well, Joseph Sage said, I can try. He opened his eyes. He gently smiled and said, of course, come with me. He started by sharing with her that spiritual growth is a journey, Journe, within. It's a journey within. Remember we talked about the soul that's inside? That journey is within, and you have to figure out a way to be able to go within. And to go within, you have to do what he called, and he gave it a name. He called it meditation. Meditation is how you go with inside. Meditation. 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 And he said, what meditation is paying attention paying attention to your breath, to your breathing. That's what it is. Meditation is paying attention to your breath, the sounds around you, and the sensations in your body all start being heard when you're able to sit quietly and be in the presence. When you're in the present, the sage said, you can experience reality. And for the most part, you're in your head most of the time. You're spending a lot of your time up here. And you also feel your body down here. But in order to feel what's going on in here, you need to stop. And when you stop, that stopping, STOPING, is what reality is. Wow. Mira listened carefully. And she started to practice being in the present. She started really thinking about what was being shared with her. She found that she could hear the birds singing. Singing clearly. She could feel the breeze blowing on her skin more vividly. And she could see the colors of the flowers as they began to bloom. And she began to see all of this as a new way of looking at the world. Next, Joseph Sage shared with Mira that one of the things you have to do on this journey is to let go, he said, to let go of judgment. Let go of judgment, which is kind of hard to do, really. But you have to do it, he said. Judge. Let go of judgment, judging other people. And you have to accept everything, not just one thing. Accept everything. Everything. As it is. Unless you can change it, or unless you are willing to sacrifice to change it. Joseph Sage told her that when we judge others or ourselves, we create barriers to our spiritual growth. And these barriers to our spiritual growth block us from experiencing the best that we can be. He went on to tell her that in life, you got to learn to accept love. You got to learn to accept love. And everyone for who they are and just as they are. Mira took this lesson to heart and began to see the world in a whole nother way. She had never looked at the world this way before. But all of a sudden, the world was opening up to her in a new way. In a way she had never seen it before. She learned to appreciate the ants and creatures on the earth and the birds and the bees. And she also learned her special role in the world. She had learned to appreciate existence. And she stopped comparing herself to others. Finally, Joseph Sage taught Mira the importance of life itself, the importance of living. And that was important. Living life one day at a time. He taught her to treat others as well as herself with kindness, to create positive energy that not only helps others, but also helps you grow spiritually. Maya took these lessons to heart and returned to her village, eager to share what she had learned with her friends and her family. As she practiced being present, accepting everything as it came, without judgment, and living a life of love and compassion, she started experiencing peace within. And Mira noticed a change within herself. She became more patient, more understanding. She became more patient, she became more understanding. One, she became more patient. She became more understanding. And she became more kind toward others. The village saw the transformation of the change in Mira, and they were inspired by her. Slowly, the entire village began to embrace this new teaching that Josef Sage brought. And together, they found peace and happiness and spiritual growth. And so Mira and her village continued to grow spiritually, living lives filled with love, compassion, and most important, presence, thanks to the wise teachings of Josef Sage. And every time Mira sat under a tree, she closed her eyes and listened to her breath. Whenever she did that, she felt a deep connection to the universe, a deep connection. And she knew that she was on the right path. The end.